Tonight, a stern warning from emergency services as the warmer weather approaches, and all the thrills and spills of 2 footy grand finals across the region.
This is Southern Cross News with Fraser Goldsworthy.
Good evening. Emergency services are urging residents across the region to ensure their fire safety plans are in place. It comes as several grass fires broke out in sweltering 35-degree heat in Port Augusta last week, and with more warmer weather on the way, authorities say now is the time to prepare.
Hot, windy weather, it's the perfect recipe for fire. Last Friday saw the mercury in Port Augusta climb to 35 degrees, with CFS crews attending a grass fire 2 kilometres south of Port Augusta and several fires further north.
Currently don't know the cause of several of the grass fires. There's been some fires that have tackled around in some of the ranges up north for several days now. Some of them could have been lightning. There could be other reasons as well that we're unaware of just yet.
The CFS says now it's time to take extra care around dry grass.
Some of these fires can be quite accidental. They can be things like wheel bearings on a trailer when someone's driving down a road, or someone parking off onto the grass. If they're travelling on the side of a road, they pull into the grass and the hot exhaust under the vehicle can set fire.
If you're on the road, it recommends parking on hard ground.
People should never park their vehicles, particularly in grassy areas. Always look for more of a hard stand, so gravel, bitumen, those type of, obviously where it's safe off of a road.
The CFS says residents in high-risk areas should have a definite practice plan in place ahead of sweltering temperatures in summer, and advise travellers to look up fire bans ahead of time.
The other thing that we need travellers to be aware of is they may not necessarily know what fire ban district they're in when we do come into fire season, so they need to make themselves aware by looking at things like the CFS website.
Amelia Simpson, Southern Cross News.
And as those temperatures rise, doctors are warning of the importance of being sun smart. Everyone is being reminded to slip, slop, slap when making the most of the warmer temperatures.
We all love to soak up the sunshine, but like most things, too much of it isn't always a good thing.
Like most things in life, Patrick, anything in moderation is good for you.
After sweltering through a weekend of 30-degree temperatures in Broken Hill, and with the mercury expected to rise over the coming months, Dr Nancy Pan says hydration is vital, especially as school holidays begin.
We need to realise that 2/3 of our body is in fact water. Not many people realise that. And if you lose a fair amount of water, just from the heat or exposure to hot air, you find that if you don't replace that water, you could be in all sorts of strife.
If you start to become thirsty, it's vital that you replenish. Otherwise, dizziness and fatigue can set in and lead to heat stroke, which in some cases can be life-threatening.
Not so long ago in Broken Hill, there were people found under trees, apparently deceased from excessive heat. So it's very important to be careful.
Dr Nancy Pan also says be sure to cover yourself in thin clothing and apply sunscreen to any exposed skin. He also recommends a good pair of sunglasses to protect your eyes from any UV rays.
Yeah, it's great in the sun. It's better than winter time. However, do everything in moderation.
Patrick Reinke, Southern Cross News.
A caravan has been destroyed by fire in Port Augusta West. Police, fire and ambulance crews were called to Bothwell Street just before 1:30 this afternoon to find an out-of-control blaze billowing black smoke with flames threatening nearby homes. Surrounding residents were evacuated from their homes while it was brought under control. Firefighters remained on scene for a couple of hours to monitor an LPG cylinder at risk of explosion due to the heat. The cause is unknown. The latest crime stats have revealed a significant drop in crime across the Eyre Peninsula. It comes as a surprise, with turbulent economic times in the region leading many to believe it was actually on the rise.
It's not been an easy time for the Eyre Peninsula, with troubled times dominating the headlines. But in a bit of good news for the region, police are dealing with less crime, with the latest stats revealing a 10% drop in reported cases.
We've seen drops in offence categories of serious assault, serious criminal trespass, theft, property damage.
While the level of offences against a person remains steady, property offences have dropped by over 10%. A 35% drop in thefts from cars was reported, while there's been a massive 40% drop in arrests relating to graffiti. Officers say the numbers in Whyalla are in line with the regional average, crediting strong partnerships police have built with locals in the community.
We've worked very collaboratively with our local stakeholders, so we've worked very closely with social services, with local council.
But domestic violence still remains a major issue.
And we take that extremely seriously. That's certainly one of the areas that we would like to see further reduction.
Police admit the figures are a little surprising, considering Whyalla's recent economic troubles, but it's being put down to a return to old-school policing.
Looking at victims to help them make themselves harder targets for crime, also being thorough in our investigations.
John Hunt, Southern Cross News.
A dispute between developers has led to a bump in the road of the construction of an Aldi supermarket in Port Pirie. Rachel Nell has more.
Little progress has been made here at the construction site of Port Pirie's Aldi supermarket on Wandera Road since the project was announced earlier this year. It's understood differences between development parties has put the multi-million-dollar venture on hold.
In a statement to Southern Cross News, the supermarket chain says Aldi Australia is committed to opening a store based in Port Pirie. However, at this stage, it has suspended construction. The site is ready for construction with the concrete slab waiting to be poured. Meanwhile, the other half of the development is still stuck in pre-construction phase, following Cheap as Chips' withdrawal to relocate to the new site.
At this stage, the latest advice is that they still intend to build on this site. However, it is going to be potentially some time before that happens.
The development has passed council's regulations, so the future of the Aldi site in Port Pirie is in the hands of the two conflicting development parties.
There's certainly no issue outstanding from council's point of view regarding these developments. It's just comes down to a business decision.
It's also a setback for Port Pirie's Come See Change program.
The supermarket giant says now it's just a matter of time. Aldi is promising to keep the local community updated with the progress of the development.
Rachel Nell reporting there. Still to come in tonight's local news, the beef station set to triple in size, bringing a boost to the region. Details next. Welcome back. You're watching Southern Cross News. Whyalla police are appealing for anyone with information over a hit-run incident to come forward. Officers say around 10:30 on Saturday night, a white Toyota four-wheel drive collided with a parked Holden sedan on Jenkins Avenue. Police say the offending car would have suffered significant damage and are urging anyone who spots a 1980s series Land Cruiser with a black bull bar and damage to its passenger side to contact them. Police are also investigating a terrifying assault in Broken Hill. Officers say a 38-year-old man was pulled from his car on Creedon Street by two people who forced open the vehicle's doors at around 2:30 on Saturday morning. The man suffered injuries to his face and arms, and a number of items were stolen from the car, including a handbag and a mobile phone. Police are urging anyone with information to come forward. Burra's Princess Royal Beef feedlot is set to triple in size as the station undergoes a massive upgrade. It's hoped it'll become one of the largest employers in the Mid-North, boosting economic benefits in nearby towns.
Providing a stable future for Burra.
Expansion will create a turnaround to the community of up to $31.2 million. It'll be purchasing of grain, cattle, services, wages that turns around in the community.
The $8 million expansion will increase its capacity from 6,000 to over 16,000 cattle, investing straight back into Burra and neighbouring regional communities. It's expected to create around 34 additional jobs.
There'll be truck drivers, there'll be feed cart drivers, there'll be nutritionalists.
The plans to increase the size of the feedlot comes amid a strong demand for grain-fed cattle.
We use 45% less land to produce that animal, 76% less water. We also generate 51% less manure. and 42% less carbon emissions.
Construction is set to begin by the end of this year. Rachel Nell, Southern Cross News.
Nominations for Whyala's Australia Day Awards are now open, and locals are being asked to think about people in our community who make the town shine. The Mayor says too many go unrecognised for their tireless work, and these awards are the perfect way to put them in the spotlight.
A city like Whyalla wouldn't function without the dedication of locals. Each year, Council launches a bid to identify those in the city doing that work through the Australia Day Awards event.
I'm constantly amazed by the people in Whyalla who do the work just in the background, get on with it, from all sorts of areas that they're involved in, and over the years we've had so many people win these awards.
Nominations for next year's awards are now open. One person will be crowned Citizen of the Year, while there's also Senior and Junior Citizens of the Year, Sportsperson of the Year and Community Service Awards. Mayor Brewer says there's something for everyone.
Somebody will fit into that category somewhere. If you know someone that's doing a great job for Whyalla, please nominate them.
Forms are available from the chambers in the City Plaza and also online at Council's website.
I think serving our community is important, being there for the community, getting involved in things in our community, people who are upright and wonderful citizens of Whyalla. That's what we're looking for.
John Hunt, Southern Cross News.
Stay with us when we return after the break. The thrills and spills from two grand final footy clashes across the Spencer Gulf and in Port Lincoln. That's next. Welcome back. Well, time is fast running out for Broken Hill businesses to nominate in the Far West Business Awards. The accolades showcase and acknowledge some of the region's best businesses and also recognise those who go the extra mile in helping customers.
Time is running out.
This is our fourth year for the Business Awards. The closing date is 29th of September, midnight, Friday.
The night acknowledges the outstanding local businesses and their people who go above and beyond. Categories range from customer service to tourism, as well as Best New Business and Employee of the Year.
It opens up a whole variety of opportunities for businesses to present themselves and achieve acknowledgement for their own records and in the community.
Locals can also nominate for the Far West's Favourite Tradie and Service with a Smile Awards, while businesses can go online to nominate in other categories. And there'll be a special visitor in attendance.
Our guest speaker this year is Lane Beachley, which is very exciting. 7th time world champion surfer coming to the desert, which is fantastic. So that should be awesome.
The Business Awards will be held late next month at the White House Convention Centre. Patrick Reinke, Southern Cross News.
All right, time for sport now. In our local footy finals, the Waybacks have won their first flag in almost a decade, defeating Marble Range by 14 points in Port Lincoln. Windy conditions on the field saw a low-scoring match, though. Here's Jason Kemp.
Excitement was fever pitch. The town turned out in droves. Wild and blustery conditions doing little to hamper the final game of 2017. Waybacks and Marble Range faced off for the last time. Both sides on knife edge early, fiery exchanges erupting shortly after first bounce. It was Marble Range who got points on the board first, but quick replies from Waybacks had them 2 points up at quarter time. As it got windier, the second quarter became an arm wrestle, both sides missing in front of goals, just a single point separating the teams by the major break. It was Waybacks who fired shots in the second half, Joshua McKenzie the only player to kick multiple goals. Marble Range were unable to fire, Waybacks keeping them scoreless during the third term, extending their buffer to the biggest of the match. During the last break, punters were forced to run for cover as rain turned into hail, some almost getting swept off their feet. But the wintry conditions did little to deter Waybacks. Marble Range throwing everything at the Demons in the dying minutes, but it wasn't enough to produce a result. Waybacks winning their first flag in 9 years, the emotion spilling onto the field. Captain Matthew Goodwin was named best on ground, his leadership unrivalled during the season.
The players are just fantastic, led by this fella, and they're a fantastic bunch and they deserve all the success they get.
The boys sung the song with gusto. Many enjoying the celebrations late into the night. Jason Kemp, Southern Cross News.
And now to the Spencer Gulf Football League Grand Final. The Bulldogs have claimed a back-to-back premiership after taking home the crown against the Solomon Town Cats. Amelia Simpson joins us now. Amelia, the game could have gone both ways.
Fraser, there is no doubt about that. It was either going to be a back-to-back premiership for the Bulldogs or a redeeming crown for Solly's after last year's flop. And in the first quarter, it seemed like Solly's had it in the bag, but the Bulldogs crept up with a 22-point lead to win the SGL 2017 premiership. With crowds of onlookers here at Central Oval, Solomon Town Cats and South Augusta Bulldogs made a triumphant entrance to the Central Oval battleground after a tough season. The Cats took charge after the first bounce, gaining a 5-point lead in the first quarter and leaving crowds of spectators wondering if they could get away with only one loss throughout the season. Playing to their home ground advantage and Coach Bowles' unchanged game plan, the Bulldogs took control of the second quarter with a 31-point lead. Sollies weren't going down without a fight, scoring 6 goals to South Augusta's 1 in the third quarter. Both teams were neck and neck in the fourth quarter, but Souths thrashed Sollies with Brendan Colson bringing home the last goal before a final point sealed the deal. South Augusta finished on top 13 goals 11, while Sollies ended an exhilarating season on 10 goals 7. Pre-season training might have given Sollies that unbeaten season, but it didn't give them the premiership. What an incredible win for South Augusta, the first back-to-back premiership since 93 and 94. All teams are looking forward to next season, I'm sure. Fraser?
Thanks, Amelia. Amelia Simpson reporting there. Weather time now, and a change is on the way, Nicole.
Yes, that's right, Fraser. A bit cooler by the week's end. I'll have all the details next. Welcome back to the weather now. A fine day right across the region to start the working week. Cooling off slightly in Port Augusta for a top of 25. 24 the maximum in Broken Hill. Plenty of sunshine about in Whyalla reaching 21 and a touch warmer in Port Pirie for 22. Showers continuing in Adelaide for 19. To the satellite now, a bit of cloud over southern parts of South Australia with cool onshore winds is bringing a few showers, mainly in the southeast. On the Gulf waters, winds will be west-southwesterly up to 20 knots. Seas around 1.5 metres, sunrise just before 6:10 with sunset a bit later at 6:17. Looking at the forecast for tomorrow, a few showers about, otherwise a mostly fine day. Seeing it warm up in Port Augusta with a top of 34 degrees. 31 the maximum in Whyalla with Broken Hill and Port Pirie around there as well. Cooling off for Port Lincoln, hitting 20 with a bit of rain and showers clearing in Adelaide for 22 degrees. And looking ahead, a wet week in Port Lincoln with showers continuing right through till Friday. Finding Cleve for a top of 27 before cooling off a little over the next few days. And much the same in Woodena with clear skies continuing. A warm one on the way Wednesday in Whyalla for a top of 26. Staying sunny in Port Augusta with temperatures consistently above 24 from a top of 34 degrees tomorrow. And a bit milder in Kadina reaching 19 on Thursday. Clear skies in Port Pirie for 25 Wednesday with sunny weather continuing right through till Friday. Similar conditions on the way in Clare and a bit of a change up in Broken Hill though with showers expected from Wednesday. Temperatures staying warm around that 23 degree mark. So a pretty mild week overall across the region. Fraser.
See you tomorrow. Thanks, Nicole. And that's all from the newsroom for now. Thanks for joining us. I'll have updates later, but until then, have a lovely evening. Good night.